Make sure those airlock doors are secure. Yeah, we don't want to revisit movie night or anything like that.
Hello, viewers, listeners of Podcast Night on Gargantua-1. My name is Colin Valentine, and I'm the co-host. Before we get started, I wanted to come to the studio alone to let you guys know that during our season hiatus, we chose to have a movie night on the station, which, given the events of prior movie nights, we should have known was a poor choice, and Grimmia died. Thankfully, we had a clone backup of her. The clone does not know she is a clone, so please draw no attention to it or to any gaps in her memory. Thank you. Oh, hey, Grimmia. I was just getting some stuff recorded.
Yeah.
Before you...
For the show?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you all caught up?
Yeah, I have seen the first 2 episodes of season 2.
Okay, great. I just have to update something really quick, and then
Totally.
Welcome back to Podcast Night on Gargantua-1. I'm Grimmia, and I am here with Colin, as always.
Yeah.
And you know, our little vacation took a little bit longer than I thought, but you know, we were relaxing. We had a good time up here.
We took time off, and then you were like, "Hey, it's Memorial Day," and then Canada has a holiday the week before Memorial Day, so we were like, "Well,
there's a lot of
in
holidays.
observance of our own national holidays, we can't do anything." And then we were busy, and then I was depressed. Being in space for long stretches of time, you know, makes one sad. You know? And then it's also like, oh, we have to like get ourselves onto a weekly production schedule.
Yeah, which we are still figuring out. But
yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I said, I don't think there should be any gaps in content. Hopefully.
No. I think the delivery should be quite smooth. It's just on our end getting it
to work.
So the original plan is to hit the studio once every 2 weeks and do 2 episodes at a time. Yep. But then I watched ships at a time, and my ADHD kicked in, and I'm like, I don't remember what happened in the first one that I watched. So
maybe this was just meant to be viewed in weekly intervals.
Yeah, and I think, you know what, weekly is good because then we get through it a little bit quicker. I can remember bits a little bit. I think weekly is good. Sit down, watch 1 episode a week like they did back in the old days. Back
when we had to wait for it to air on Adult Swim. No, we are still in 2006.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean like the shows in 2007. I meant like in 2007 people would wait and watch TV weekly.
Yeah.
Then streaming happened.
Sometimes you still...
And now streaming's just cable again.
Yeah. Like,
God.
For Only Murders in the Building, you still have to wait a week between episodes when it first comes out.
Now it's like, hey, get Verizon and bundle Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever, for $20 a month, and it's like, that's just cable.
Yeah.
I bet they're all the basic packages with ads, like that is just cable.
Fucking ads.
The fact
you can
that, like,
only bundle it with ads too. It's always the lowest tier, one screen, ads, 480p.
Yeah. The lack of password sharing now, you know, means it's, oh, you have to watch it at home. Like, it's just cable. Except, at least with cable, you get HD channels.
My coworker had Netflix. He probably still does, but he's not my coworker anymore. And he had...
My coworker had Netflix. Yeah. I had a coworker with Netflix.
Yeah. And he had it on his TV or whatever at home.
Yeah.
And then he logged into it at work so we could use it at
Yes.
work, so we could watch movies and shit. And then they changed
For
the
sure.
password sharing, thinking it was 2 different people using the account, which kind of is correct. But like...
Yeah, because it goes based on location.
Yeah, and we were in 2 different locations, so every time we tried to watch Netflix, it would email him a code that he would have to text to us so that we could prove that we were the one guy.
Fucking ridiculous.
It sucked so much. And then, like, his little brother had an account, too, so we were just like, oh, yeah, well, we're working with his brother, so that'll work, right? No. It still had to email the account owner a code. My goddamn.
So I pay for certain streaming services that I then give the logins to my parents for, and then they pay for other streaming services, right? So like we share them that way.
I always used to do that in college. Somebody pays for Hulu, somebody pays for Netflix.
Normal people do, right? So then Netflix goes into the password sharing, so now my mom had to pay extra to get my wife and I our own like version of the account.
Yeah, you have to pay extra for it. But it doesn't... It's so stupid.
This whole thing is ridiculous. Like...
I think Hulu's starting to do that now, too.
This is why, Podcast Night on Gargantua-1 is an anti-capitalist podcast. Gonna recommend some socialist YouTube channels for you guys now. Let's all get radicalized a little bit and then reconvene in a few hours.
There's still some services that don't care about that. Shout out to HBO, because I don't think they care.
You know what else bugs me, though, about streaming services now? You don't own anything.
No. So if
Disney Plus just took things off the platform that they thought weren't doing well enough, so now they're never there.
Yeah, I heard about
There's no way to watch them.
that show.
There's
I don't know which
no
show,
way to
I've heard
I don't even
about
remember
it
what it was.
before.
Because I wasn't interested in it, and that's fine. I don't need to be, but
It just doesn't exist.
anyone who was,
It's because they don't want to pay
no
for residuals.
Yeah, there's no chance for it to ever become some kind of like cult classic again. Like that's gone.
There was a
just-
show that had aired on Disney in the 2000s or something for a couple seasons, and then that got taken off of Disney Plus, and then that Willow show that they just did got taken off of Disney Plus, and I don't think
3 weeks later or something.
Think you can buy it because it was like
No,
Disney
you can't
exclusive.
because it was streaming only. They need to release it, so there's no legal, quote unquote, legal way to watch it. And then so and then there's DC made a whole Batgirl movie. They were like, well, our projections show we're not going to make enough from it.
Oh, and they scrapped it for tax
So we're just going to
purposes.
scrap it for the tax. Like, this is ridiculous.
Tax write-off. But they're going to release Flash.
Which also now shows us that art has no place purely for the sake of, like, making something. Which, I mean, we already knew, but way to, like, say the quiet part out loud.
Honestly, that's what I liked about Unis Honest when that was a thing. That was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
For context, Unis Honest was a YouTube show run by Markiplier and Ethan Nestor. They did a video a day for a year, and COVID hit, and they still did a video a day for a year. And then at the end of the year, they did a live stream until like midnight, like literally 1 year later at midnight, and they deleted the whole channel. It was just art for art's sake, and you can't... Like, there are a bunch of ways to watch it online. You can, like, do the Wayback Machine or the Internet Archive. People uploaded whole episodes, but they were like, don't do that, please. Like, this is kind of what we're getting at, is...
Yeah. And it's like, that is
Everything
art for
has to
art's sake.
end.
I don't like the fact that you can't watch it at all anymore. I think it would be cool if they, like, put a retrospective together for it.
I still look
like,
up the clip of Ethan trying to say skillet, because it makes me laugh so
everything
hard.
now, we are at the point in capitalism, this is late stage capitalism, where everything is, it's the money. purely and exclusively the money.
Metalocalypse just got taken off of HBO Max.
Why?
Because there may be not enough interest, which doesn't seem right if you go on the Metalocalypse subreddit, because they're pissed off about it.
Well, and then Netflix shows being canceled after one season.
Yeah.
Because, it didn't meet our numbers in a week and a half. Okay, but they set up like a bunch of interesting plot lines. You didn't give the show time to build up a following. You just ended it.
And because it's Netflix, you can't get physical media, so if they take it off, it's gone.
Yeah. It's horrible. Like, I still don't think you can buy... I'm going to verify this before I say something dumb.
I think Stranger Things
2 seconds.
you can buy physical media of, because I've seen it at Target, and I remember it looked really cool, because I think it was designed like an old VHS case.
Nice.
But, like, I really wanted to watch Mindhunter, because that's within the realm of things I enjoy. But then I saw it got canceled after
Hunting Minds, totally.
2 seasons, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to get into something that I know is not going to continue.
Like Glass Onion, the sequel to Knives Out, because it was released exclusively on Netflix and like a few theaters, there is no way to own a physical copy of Glass Onion.
God, I love that movie though.
It's great, which means like Ryan Johnson, who's like, no, I would love to do a physical copy, can't unless Netflix is like, okay, little boy, and pats him on the head nicely and gives him a little kiss on the nose and gives him permission to do it. Like, this is why, like, protect physical media. If you like something, buy it.
Because even if you buy the digital versions, they can still take that away from you.
They could take your license away for it.
Yeah. Like, if Amazon loses the license for something and you bought the show on Amazon, it's gone.
Well, another example is when I had a PlayStation, I would buy WWE games digitally every year.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, I buy games digitally now because they're on Steam. But I went and I bought 2K19, and then the next games came out, so I was playing that. But then I was like, oh, I want to play 2K19 again. So I reinstall it, and they've delisted all the downloadable content, and there's no way for me to reinstall the DLC.
Because you can't buy it.
Yeah, because it's not in the shop, so it's been delisted. So even though I paid money, I paid like $30 Canadian for all those DLC packs, I no longer have access to them. Because I uninstalled them at some point.
Physical media also is going to have the banned episodes in the
like the episode of Community where Chang dresses up as a dark elf.
That is on Peacock now in America.
Good. That episode being removed was such a reactionary thing.
The best episode of Community.
Well, and it wasn't even like they were like, oh well, he's doing blackface. No, he wasn't. He was dressing up as a dark elf, and everyone was like, "This looks too much like blackface, dude." And he's like, "Oh,
like they ran it through AI just to pick what was bad, quote unquote bad."
Yeah, it's well, and it did come at a time when the Black Lives Matter movement was at like a very high peak. And so I do understand, but it was such a virtue signaling way of doing it. It was like there was no thought put into removing this. They were just like, see, we cared about the black community. We removed an episode where somebody painted their face. Smiles. Like, okay, how about donating your billions of dollars in profits to a cause instead of just doing the bare minimum? No? Okay.
Because there's just an absurd amount of Always Sunny episodes that have been removed from the internet, but you can I don't even think you can buy those episodes on Amazon to watch. But if you bought the DVDs, which I don't even know if they're making the DVDs anymore for older seasons, like 3 episodes from season 14 got removed. Yeah, like
the future is terrible. I joke a lot about how I've been letting YouTube radicalize me, but I actually have been watching like some like lightly political content. I'm not gonna out myself and say what I've been watching. It's not important, but it's like, oh yeah, capitalism. Just remember, kids, capitalism does not give a fuck about you.
Nope.
We do, not much, but more than capitalism does.
Spent the first 15 minutes of the episode on our rant for the day. For this day.
And it wasn't even just like a fun little side tangent. We were like, no, I'm actually pissed about this.
Well, it's stupid, and censorship is bullshit.
Censorship is bullshit.
Just because you don't like it doesn't...
Digital licensing is bullshit. Hundreds, to my estimation, of video games have been delisted. Because Activision specifically will get a lot of like licenses with companies. As soon as those licenses lapse, the games get delisted. So like you can no longer buy the original Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Ultimate Alliance 2 because that was made as part of a partnership between Marvel and Activision.
Yeah, and they didn't want to
I managed to buy them like I bought the digital copies 2 weeks before they were delisted. So thank God I can still play them.
I want to say I might have the Xbox 360 version of Marvel Ultimate Alliance somewhere.
Yeah. I got the remastered gold edition. So it comes with the DLC and everything, which is very nice. But it's like, that can't be bought anymore. Transformers Devastation by Platinum Games. Excellent Platinum game, slashy, whippy thing. Transformers game, no longer purchasable anywhere. You cannot acquire it. Because fuck you, that's why. Like, streaming sounds great until it's not.
Coffee members can listen to Podcast Night on Gargantua-1 early. Link available in the show notes or YouTube description.
My brain was about to jump straight to the intro question. Wow.
Hey, we don't have.
Who are we? You don't need to know that. All that matters is the story.
Yep.
If you're enjoying what our mystery show is doing, there are numerous ways to support the show on our Beacons page.
Show?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Mystery TTRPG Theater 5000.
Catch the chaos live Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/The Forgotten Troop.
You know what else isn't great? Hank and Dean are dead.
Well, they got better, kind of.
We're not there yet. We're not at that part of the episode yet.
Which part of the episode are we even on right now?
We haven't even started the episode. I was segueing us into the episode. They're dead.
At this point, for Hammer and Public, they're both writing the episodes together, and they just kind of trade off. Somebody will write Hank, somebody will write Dean, or they'll do, like, Hammer will write, Dr.
Rock, the other one will write Rusty.
Dr. Girlfriend, and Monarch scenes, the other one will do Venture scenes. They're just ping-ponging what they're writing at this point. So
they kiss a little bit.
Yeah, unless I specifically say otherwise, just assume at this point they're both the writers, because that's by season 2 they've gotten really, especially after Trial of the Monarch, they've gotten into the swing of things with writing. The premiere episode was not the first episode they wrote of season 2.
What was the first episode they wrote?
Not this one. They wrote.
Are we allowed to discuss what the first one was, or is that like
I think
secret?
They wrote Assassinanny 911 first.
That's a great. I can't wait for that episode now. It's an awesome name.
They wrote a couple episodes, and then they wrote the premiere, so they could figure out what was kind of going on with everybody else.
Right. It's like, where do we want this?
Yeah, like, oh, we have this happening in a couple episodes, so how do we get there?
Note, I noticed this is the first opening credit scene to not feature Hank and Dean.
I believe the only opening credit scene did not feature Hank and Dean.
I guess, I could have guessed it was the only one, but I didn't want to say it, and you'd be like, well, actually, it happens 12 more times, you fucking idiot.
As far as I know, that's the only one they don't, that don't have it in there.
Yeah, because at the beginning of this episode, they are dead. We also learned in this episode that they have been dead many times, including from a gas leak. That one was funny. Where it shows them sleep is, oh, there was a gas leak that time. But yeah, everybody feels really bad that Hank and Dean are dead. Dr. Orpheus is especially choked up about it because
he doesn't know they're clones.
He did not. But also, unlike everyone else, he gives a shit about these boys.
Well, Brock cares, but Brock's probably a little desensitized at this point.
Yeah, Brock cares about them once they're like there and cognizant. But I think as a whole, Brock's kind of just desensitized to the whole bullshit charade surrounding all of it. And then, yeah, so Dr. Orpheus is like, I'm going to do necromancy to resurrect the boys. And he thinks he did that, but it turns out they're just like, what, clone slugs or something?
Yeah.
What do they call them?
Fucking weird.
Yeah, it's like half-finished, half-baked clones of the boys.
Oh.
They're hairless and
gross.
Skinless.
It happens quite a bit. Actually, I don't think he summoned them. I think those were just the incubated clones that got away.
Well, that's what I said. Like, yeah, he thought he did necromancy. Yeah. He's like, oh god, I summoned these horrible husks, but it's just clones that wandered there at the time.
Speaking of licensing, so the song in the montage is called "Everybody's Free to Feel Good" by Rosala.
Okay.
And they specifically wrote the montage using that song. And Adult Swim was like, we don't want to pay for it. That costs money. We're not doing that. So
not for Hammer, you fuckers.
Hammer wrote a different song and then slapped it in there and then showed it to the Adult Swim executives. And they're like, okay, the other song is better. I guess we'll pay for it. So we do get a remix version of Everybody's Free to Feel Good for the Venture Brothers. This song is originally from like 91 or something like that. It's from like the early 90s.
That's crazy.
And then like 10-ish years later, they're using it in fucking Venture Brothers. And so yeah, you really needed to have that montage song. Everybody's okay to feel good.
I am also okay to feel. No, I like this episode. I mean, I like Jonas Jr. better than Rusty.
JJ's a good guy. He's trying to be a good guy. He's still got like the star eyes about super science.
And you know what? Maybe that's what we need, is somebody who's a little starry-eyed about science.
We do see him on and off, but he's not, like, a main character. I do like how the title sequence set it up. Like, it's JJ now. He's the Venture Brother, because that was one of the fan theories we talked about.
Yeah.
Is that it was just going to be Rusty and JJ. And they're like, hey, guess what, guys?
It is. No, psych,
haha,
it's not.
Nah. Fuck you. You thought.
It's like, no. It's still these little bastards. Don't you worry.
Yeah. It was just kind of like a whole fluffy episode. A lot happened, but it wasn't a whole lot happening.
It was really just a lot of like, let's do a bunch of gags and then explain how the boys are going to be back.
Yeah.
And remind everyone of kind of where we left
everybody else.
Our principal cast as of the last episode. What I don't understand is, why did Rusty go on a bender?
To find himself.
Was that related to the death of the boys, or was he just like, oh, there's as good a time as any?
50-50, honestly.
Bit of column. He does not care about these children.
It's as good a time as any to go on a fucking bender. You might as well.
I honestly, my interpretation is, oh, they're dead. Good, I don't have to watch them. I may as well go on a bender now.
Yeah, that's
before I
probably
reclone them. Because, yeah, like, oh, good, I don't have to supervise them. Not that he does anyway. I liked Orpheus being like, I can't process the ramifications of cloning, and they're just like, no, dude, you do necromancy. It's the same thing.
It's the same fucking thing.
Like, and it's one of the few times Rusty is like right. He's like, no, what we're doing, we are doing this. We are morally the same in this instance. Shut up. You have no high ground, you dumb bitch.
I guess it's it's only different in that Rusty's got the science to like upload memories into them.
That's the soul.
I guess. Yeah, alright. But if you can't put the soul back, and then you just end up with like a husk, you end up with like a voodoo zombie at that point.
Yeah, well, and if you don't put the memories back, you end up with a baby. And what really is the difference between a baby and a voodoo zombie? I don't think there's much of one. That's the quality content people come to this podcast for. Baby versus voodoo zombie. Yeah.
The reference I picked for this one is the Monarch's Shawshank Redemption style escape. Because I do love any movie that has Mr. Krabs in it.
Yeah, Clancy Brown goes crazy.
It's a good movie if you've never seen it.
I haven't. I'm not gonna see it. Not even
That's
because
fair.
I'm like, I don't want to, but because it's like, it has been parodied and referenced and done and sent up so many times. I feel like I've seen it.
Yeah, you don't really. It's also a fun thing to quote is because like the guy who got arrested because he got set up, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's like yelling, I'm not supposed to be here. So
Yeah.
like when you get called into work, kind of like Clerks,
I'm not
Dante
supposed to
gets
be
called
here.
in, he's not supposed to be here. So we would used to yell that a lot. Like, I'm not supposed to be here.
Speaking of movies, I recently watched all 3 Harold and Kumar films. First time.
First time?
Yeah.
Join us on our podcast where I show Colin stoner movies, but he's sober because he doesn't do drugs.
Yeah. Speaking of stoner movies that I saw, I also watched both Ted films.
I enjoyed them.
So my thoughts are, the first Harold and Kumar movie is so much better than it has any right to be. Like, it is actually fantastic. Like, it's genuinely really funny.
We watched Harold and Kumar go to White Castle at work because it was on.
It's good. So yeah, that one great. It is so incredibly easy to root for those guys.
Yeah, I also like that's still when Neil Patrick Harris was like a little in the closet, kind of.
It is the first one is pre coming out. It's also pre How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
It's basically I was doing some reading because I'll watch something and be like, ooh, let's read every trope about it. So I have a problem. Some people might call that problematism. Anyways,
Maybe.
and so this movie was sort of what catapulted him out of like the Doogie Howser child star and into like, oh, this guy's actually like cool and funny.
Yeah, into the
and that got him his How I Met Your Mother role.
The womanizer
basically.
thing, because
Yeah.
the first Harold and Kumar came out before he came out, so it was just like
the second movie,
Doogie Howser's out of control kind of thing.
The second movie, he was already out, but they couldn't reference it because it canonically took place like a week after the first one.
Yeah.
And so by the time the Christmas one came, then it's like, okay, now we can reference it. And he's like, nah, it's all a lie, just to get more bitches.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first one, great, fantastic, super easy to root for these guys, and like you're cheering on their personal growth and successes. It's awesome. It's also such a personal attack to see how fucking cheap everything was.
It's so funny.
They order like, okay, the person I was watching this movie with and we did the math, and it's like, for the 60 burgers they ordered alone, you'd be paying about $95 US right now. for 60 original sliders.
Yeah.
Their entire order, including the 60 sliders, the orders of fries, and the Cokes, was $46. So for only the burgers, you are paying more than twice what they paid for everything. That is insane. Inflation is terrible. Anti-capitalist podcast is what I'm saying. No. The second Harold and Kumar movie, also really funny, really good, and also remarkably effective satire of the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
Like, for a stoner comedy, they were like, what if this was an effective parody or satire? And I'm like, oh, it was. Okay. That's great. And the third one was fine. It happened. Whatever.
I don't think I've seen the third one. I've only seen the first two. I've seen the first one a lot. It's like one of those quintessential stoner films.
Ted 1, totally acceptable movie. Ted 2, really good.
Ted 1 was good.
Ted 2...
I couldn't tell you much about Ted 1, but I remember Ted 2.
Ted 2 was much improved. Ted 1 was basically like, here's the gimmick, but it basically just ended up boiling down more to, how do I choose between my girlfriend and my best friend? Oh, no. And, like, Mark Wahlberg was the main character of Ted 1.
Yeah.
Ted was the main character of Ted 2. And his struggle in court and whatever. Also, Amanda Seyfried was in it, and we love her.
She's so good. I love her.
She's so right. So yeah, Ted 2 is great. What other stoner movies are there? Like, I haven't watched like stoner comedy.
There's a lot. Up in Smoke, obviously. If you want to go,
what defines
like,
a movie
classic,
as a stoner movie?
Usually anything where they're doing drugs.
Okay, so Ted and Ted 2 are stoner movies because
pretty much
they smoke a ton of pot.
Any Cheech and Chong movie is going to be a stoner film. Anything.
Yeah, I don't want to see a Cheech and Chong movie because I just don't like their style of comedy.
Anything that's
Your delivery is just...
like actually like How High or High School. That's like a stoner film and stuff. Anna Faris is in one. It's called Smiley Face. I remember that one.
What stoner movies are there that are the same like energy as Harold and Kumar?
Super Troopers.
Super Troopers?
Big Lebowski, kind of. That's more of
Super Troopers is a stoner movie?
I would call it a stoner movie.
Why?
Because it's hilarious when you're high. It's still good, but it's hilarious when you're high.
Oh, Super Troopers. Okay, my mistake. My brain was like, why is Starship Troopers a stoner movie?
No. That's a different
I'm stupid.
Seth Rogen and what's his name did quite a few of them.
Pineapple Express. Yeah. The thing, I don't know if I could watch those because I hate James Franco.
Yeah, that's his name, James Franco.
Join us for our new podcast where we dissect everything James Franco's ever done wrong in his life from birth till now. Anyways, I enjoyed this episode. It was a good start to the season, I think.
Any stupid comedy from the early 2000s, late 90s, you could probably call a stoner film. Like Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah.
Grandma's Boy, Superbad. Fast Times at Ridgemont High is like the original stoner movie.
Fast Times is on the list here. Dazed and Confused, Clerks.
Oh, Dazed and Confused.
The Big Lebowski.
Clerks 3 hurt me so bad.
Dude, Where's My Car is on there. Scary Movie is on there. Scary Movie 2, Super Troopers, Wet Hot American Summer.
Made by Kevin Smith is basically a stoner movie.
Van Wilder. Van Wilder is actually pretty good. Anyways, it was a good episode. It was a good start off to the season. It was a good lead-in.
I don't think I have any any extra tidbits besides the montage song, which is conveniently tied into about the tirade about ranting or the tirade about licensing.
Yeah, we're on the ball. We know what we're doing. Sometimes once a year, maybe.
Sometimes.
Anyways, this episode is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Don't play it! Capitalism, ladies and gentlemen, it's terrible. But anyways, yeah, this episode is brought by Raid Shadow Legends. Don't play it. There are better games out there in which you can level grind.
If you want to sponsor us, let us know. Currently, our only sponsors are just
ourselves.
Our own projects, which aren't really sponsors. It's just me plugging my internet show, Tales from the Forgotten Troop.
Ignore every plug you've heard about my stream. I don't do that anymore. I quit Twitch in a blinding rage. So I'm gonna have a whole video about it. My YouTube channel.
Join Colin's Discord if you want to hang out with us.
My Discord is really just like is always the hoppin' Discord. It's always poppin'.
Well, I really Dallas's Discord's pretty hoppin', but I never remember.
Well, so we can't plug someone else's Discord here. It's not allowed.
Oh, well, hang on. When does this come out? This episode will come out later this week, because this comes out on the 18th. Later this week, you can catch me. We're doing a small mini-series on Tales from the Forgotten Troops.
Is that the lesbian sword thing?
Yep, we're playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians, and I'm playing totally not a knockoff of Shang from Mulan.
I have a question. Are they thirsty for sex, or are they dehydrated?
Yes.
Both. Oh, okay.
Totally not a knockoff. You can tell because his name is DB Chang.
Why did you just name him Senor Chang? You should have just named him Senor Chang.
Chang with an E. And also
Chang.
The DM says I have to wear my Top Dad shirt.
Beautiful.
So I'll be wearing that.
I also, now that I no longer stream because reasons, again, I'm gonna make a video about it. Check out my YouTube channel. Check out my Ko-Fi. I have things. There's just, I'm busy, so things are happening slower than I'd like them to. But now that I'm freed from my obligations of the Twitch gods, I could participate in a campaign again.
It's true. This mini-series is only running for 3 weeks. It'll be the 20th of June, the 27th of June. We take a break for America's birthday. Happy birthday, America. And then July 11th, we will wrap up. USA is the best. I can't wait for the Olympics it's in a month, actually, because we're going to win so many medals. And we already beat Pakistan at cricket. I don't even know what cricket is, but we're the best at it.
I don't have a single ounce of pride for any country. USA. Except, like, I don't know, maybe Finland? Let's go Finland.
Finland's cool. That's...
Hell yeah, Finland. That's why I live on a space station.
USA.
Hey. No.
We will see you next... Well, it'll be next week for you. For us, it'll be in, like, 2 seconds, where we talk about... Who the fuck knows what else we're going to talk about, but we're supposed to be talking about the hate floats.
This is one of our rantiest episodes yet.
40 minutes of... Yeah, we're barely on subject.
we talked about the episode for like maybe 10 minutes.
Yep.
But honestly, okay, I do have a question for the viewers though. Is that part of the appeal for you guys? Like, would you be more interested in like tighter episodes where we just talk about the episode? Or are you like, yeah, sure, they'll discuss it, but I'm here for the tangent?
I feel like half of podcasts are all about
the tangent.
The hosts. There's podcasts I listen to where I like the hosts a lot. Then there's like true crime ones where I don't want the host's opinion. I just want the facts of the case, and that's it. That's why Case File is the best true crime podcast, hands down.
The podcasts I listen to, I only listen to like horror fiction podcasts, so I don't want to even know who the host's what the host's name is. I want you to introduce the story, and in my ideal world, every story is voice acted. It's not just you reading it to me.
Radio
so that's my preference.
We've been as a society.
That's literally. I'm like I listen. Chilling Tales for Dark Nights has perfected like the radio drama format of it. It's really good. Do not listen to the No Sleep podcast. They were really good for like a season, and then they were like, wait, we can make money on this, and gated like half the podcast behind a
We'll
paywall.
always be free, because nobody will ever pay us to do this, but if you want to pay us, we both have coffees.
Yeah, Ko-Fi.
I say
Is it coffee or Ko-Fi? I pronounce it Ko-Fi, like lo-fi.
Who knows? There's no rules.
We have things where we can be paid. Oh, also, yeah, the episodes come out early on my Ko-Fi now, too. So that's neat.
Yeah, so if you subscribe to either of our
Just getting
coffees,
to-
then you will get the episodes as early as I upload them.
Yes, you have to read the tier descriptions, though, because not all the tiers necessarily get you
That's
early
on
access to
Colin's.
things.
My tiers are different, of course, because they're different.
Yeah, this is what I said, like, read them because you don't know. Don't just assume these things. You know what they say about assuming. Don't you do it. Have a good night, everybody.
See you next week.